Hi guys, thanks for joining us again on the channel. So, there's a reason I haven't talked about this one until now. It's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but because I needed to get it right. And now the wait's over. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details. Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer seems genuinely impressed with the power of this electric scooter, noting that its strong motor handles hills with ease while maintaining a consistent speed. For commuting on paved surfaces, they found the suspension to be excellent, providing a smooth ride. It appears this vehicle is a great option for someone looking for reliable, affordable transport for short trips to work or around the neighborhood. The assembly process was described as mostly straightforward, although our reviewer suggests that having your own set of tools will make the job much easier than using the included kit. They did point out that the instructions weren't entirely accurate, referring to some components that aren't present on this model and being a bit vague on other parts, like the basket installation. However, these were minor issues that could be figured out with a bit of common sense. Our client also mentioned that while their brakes were fine out of the box, others may need to tighten them up. Operationally, this client appreciated the vehicle's simplicity. It's a throttle-only model, which they preferred over having to cycle through various speed settings and modes. You simply use the throttle to go and the brakes to stop, with a very basic display that only shows the remaining battery life. The key is the sole way to start the machine, and it has a unique 3-position system. The third position is the only one that fully powers the throttle. As a final piece of practical advice, they recommend against using a large, dangling keychain and suggest avoiding wet roads to protect the motor and battery.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer found that their new electric scooter arrived well packaged. While our reviewer is the type of person who follows instructions precisely, they felt the included guide could have been clearer. Thankfully, a helpful assembly video was available on the product page, and even though it showed a slightly different model, it was enough to get the job done. In total, putting this personal vehicle together took only about 15 minutes. A nice surprise was that the battery came with a decent charge right out of the box, allowing for a good 10 miles of riding before it needed to be plugged in. Initially, this client was a bit nervous about the purchase, worried about safety, especially with their kids wanting to try it. However, the 3 selectable speed settings quickly put those fears to rest. The first mode is quite gentle, capping the speed at around 9 miles per hour, which is perfect for beginners. The second mode offers a brisker pace at about 16 miles per hour, while the third unlocks the scooter's full potential. Our reviewer, who weighs about 180 pounds, found it topped out at a respectable 18.5 miles per hour. At 6'2", they felt a little cramped and were told they looked a bit big for the scooter, but it wasn't an uncomfortable ride. The scooter is equipped with several useful features. The basket is a great addition for carrying a few items on trips to the park. For riding in lower light, there's a headlight and a tail light. The brakes are effective, the kickstand is sturdy, and the horn, while just a simple spring-loaded bell, does its job. Both our reviewer and their kids love riding it around the neighborhood, and the battery life has been more than adequate for their needs. Overall, this electric scooter seems to be a fantastic value.
Excellent. Let's find out what our next reviewer has to share about their experience.
This reviewer initially harbored some doubts about this electric scooter, but was pleasantly surprised from the get-go. The shipping was remarkably fast, and upon unpacking, our reviewer was genuinely impressed to find that all the necessary tools for assembly were included, a thoughtful touch that saved an extra trip to the hardware store. However, the first riding experience proved to be quite perplexing. Having no prior experience with an electric vehicle featuring a hand throttle, this client found the initial ride very strange and felt off balance, leading to the immediate thought that a poor purchasing decision had been made. The scooter would accelerate, but then quickly come to a halt upon releasing the throttle. This led to a very confusing and frustrating cycle, making our reviewer believe that constant acceleration was required, which felt entirely unnatural and difficult to manage. It turns out the issue was not with the scooter's design, but a simple mishap. During the unpacking process, the front brake cable had accidentally shifted, catching on the rim of its housing. This subtle displacement was enough to partially engage the front wheel's brake, causing the resistance and the abrupt stops that our reviewer initially mistook for normal operation. After a thorough and careful inspection of the components, this client discovered the misaligned cable leading to the caliper connection. With a gentle adjustment, it simply fell into its correct position, resolving the perplexing problem instantly. Now at 61 years old, our reviewer is thoroughly enjoying this electric scooter, using it daily for commutes from work to home and for leisure rides beyond. What could have easily resulted in a scathing review and a negative experience was purely a misunderstanding of the circumstances. This client wholeheartedly recommends this electric scooter to anyone looking for a reliable ride, expressing immense satisfaction with the purchase.
Appreciate you watching. If this video helped, like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts below. See you soon.